Imagine, if you will, you are at a bar. Don't ask me what bar. Just follow my metaphor here. And you see a girl, or if you're a girl, you see a guy, or if you're gay, you see same sex. What? Just go with it. You see somebody attractive. Let's just go with that. And then you go, you make your move, you slick your hair back. If you're bald, you slick your scalp back. Just follow me on the metaphor here, please. You mingle, you talk, you find there's some chemistry, you find out there's something there. You know, there's a little bit of like light hand touching. Oh, you're so funny, hand. And you just feel like, and there's almost this feeling of like, it's going to happen. Something beyond tonight is going to happen. Something's going to happen beyond the bar is going to happen. And then when you leave the bar together, everything feels right. And then the moment clicks, you guys look and be like, you want to continue this at my place? And you're thinking, sure, you're unsure, but you're kind of excited, but you don't want to give it away. You want to be like, yes. So you're like, yeah, sure, yeah, yeah, let's go. And then you get there, and then when you get to the house, you realize something is off. Something is off. Something is not there. Long story short, you realize that the person you're with is not as good as the whole story was complete BS, and you realize that you spend the night with somebody you're thinking, I will take my chances jumping out the window. And I will deny ever knowing you to everyone. That is Philadelphia. Hey everybody, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic, and welcome. We're continuing our NFL 2025 recap, and we're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, a franchise that, yes, they have gone to 2 Super Bowls, they have won divisions, everything goes well, but you just still wonder going, what is wrong with you? You have everything checked correctly, but what is wrong with you? Why is it so hard to love you? I always feel like every year there are teams that you just feel like, well, they're going to be good. But when they're not, you're like, why? There's no major injuries. You're talented players. You guys won it before, so it's not like this is completely new to you. You've been through the dance, you've been through the whole routine. Heck, your reserve spot in the playoff hotel is already there. The division is not going to give you trouble, but why is it so hard to root for you? Now, Philadelphia fans, I always say you guys are hard to root for anybody. You guys can win multiple championships in the NHL and baseball and basketball. Good luck, 276ers. Good luck to you guys. And somehow you guys still feel like you underperformed. Why? And when it comes to the Eagles, when it comes to your football team, it just feels very much like you guys win championships. You guys have made history. You guys have built. You guys are multiple champion. You're no longer the never won it. You are in the multiple championship holder up there with Baltimore, the Rams, the Bucks. You're there. But why does it feel like every year we go, I was hyped on you because of Barkley, so I had a 14-3 record as your high point. But a worst case, 11-6. Unlike the Commanders, you were another one of those teams I felt very locked on. I felt it was going to be between you and the Commanders all the way, and boy, they only lasted to week 4. So you guys took care of it yourself. But when I do these videos, because it's hard to watch every game, but I do watch every highlight during the season, not all at one point, because when the game's over, in case the games I miss, I watch the highlight, so at least get a feel how the game turned out. Because ESPN and NFL Network don't show highlights anymore, so quite frankly, we have to do our own work, watching game highlights. like the good old days. And when I watch your guys' wins and I watch your guys' opponents, I'm like, they won, but I don't feel satisfied that they win. I don't feel confident. I'm glad they won, but it's just okay. You guys won 11-6. You won the division, and then you lose in the first round of San Francisco, who has two of their star defensive players out for what, 60-70% of the season. Bosa more. So it's like, and even some of your, like I said, some of your victory just felt like, I mean, there were games where you guys didn't have points in the second half or didn't have a completed pass in the second half. These weird stats that just feel like, but they're Philadelphia. They won the Super Bowl. They've been to 2 in the past 4 years. They can't beat this. So it's weird. And what's weird about this is that when I was looking for your best game, when I look for teams' best games, I look at 3 big categories. One is who's their opponent. 2, when during the season, when was it? Was it in the beginning of the season, like the first 10 games, or was it towards the last? And of course, if it's a conference foe, or is the team that's considered like the Bills or the Ravens type of calibers, like was the matchup when everyone else was like over 10 weeks in and they're both riding high with 8-3 records or something like that, then it's like do or die. We gotta see who's the real alpha here. And then the next one is, how'd you guys win? Because there's a difference when you win 24-21 than it is when you win 13-3. There's a difference. Was the win like I showed my might, or was the win was like we just did enough better to you? And for Philadelphia, that was the story. It felt like we did enough. So when it came to finding your best game, there were candidates that I was like, no. You had a 10-7 victory over at Green Bay and a 13-12 win at Buffalo. Those were candidates. But really, 10-7, 13-12? No. I got to give a win that at least had, at the time, made us all believe they're legit. And funny enough, after your 10-7 win at Green Bay, you come home to face Detroit, who was also going through kind of like their own identity crisis, in a 16-9 Week 11 victory. I watched this game. And yes, Detroit lost, but Detroit did them no favors. This was sad. This was a game where I was like, these are considered the 2 top NFC teams. Because when I saw this, I was like, these 2, I don't want them to represent the NFC. This is the best they got. Thank you, Rams and Seattle, take that away from us. But it was your best game. It was your best opponent, best record, and at times it felt like you guys were destined to meet in the playoffs. Looking at the stats, Philadelphia, you outrushed them 148-74. The passing was clearly Detroit's favor with 243 to 124, pardon me. Detroit overpowered it with 317 yards to 272. Turnover battle was 1-0, so probably not a big loss. Sack was 1-2, and time of possession, you guys nearly had 10 minutes of time of possession. That explains why the Russian attack was so effective. But this game was bad, and was so bad, similar to Detroit, is that both of you had talent, star players that have made plays against lesser foes, and some even greater foes. But today it just felt like, who put the handicap? Who slowed down the process? Who put, some, sleeping pills in you guys' Gatorade? It just felt like these two, these are the two teams we're supposed to be fearing. I mean, for lesser teams, probably, but to the big dogs of the NFC or the NFL, not really scary. It's more boogie 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 than. So it was more boogie boogie boogie, kind of scary. So what can I say? This was not the performance, but it was your best game because the opponent was there. The timing was right. I'm not giving you the Green Bay one, and I'm definitely not giving you the Bills one because those games just felt like you guys were not good, but man, they were so bad that I can't even say the opponent was worthy of being viewed as your best opponent to beat. Detroit was. But your worst game was clearly based on the opponent and the timing. And was also, as I hinted before, it was Dallas's best game. Your worst game was week 12 at Dallas. The 21-0 lead against a division foe on the road, and you blew it. And at times, it felt like Dallas was going to choke them away themselves. But they didn't. And then, I always find it weird when the team has a big lead, and then they lose it, or even win it, and it's just like, you didn't score a single point the rest of the way. Especially if like it's a first quarter, like you get like a 20-point lead, and the final score is like 20-16. You're like, we won. I'm like, you didn't do anything offensively in the second half. What happened there? So for this one, 21-0 lead, and then final score is 24-21. You're like, you didn't do anything. You had literally Dallas fans already walking out of the stadium, and what's funny is that this took place right after the Detroit game, so maybe it was hinting at we see something here. Maybe it's the playbook to beat them. Maybe it's the blueprint to figure them out, or maybe we're just saying it's about to break. What is? We don't know, but something's going to give. And then your disappointment loss to Chicago, which even I was like, you're giving Chicago Bear fans gloating powers. Don't give the Bears gloating powers. And you did. So it was just like, what happened? That loss just sparked the losing streak. And then you beat the Raiders, and we're like, we beat the Raiders. I'm like, oh, good for you. Participation trophy credit. So to me, it was the worst game for the big reason, honestly. Division foe, on the road, 3-touchdown lead. You blew it. Suck. And you gave Dallas happy thoughts for the week. Why do that? Don't give Dallas Cowboys hope. They're going to be obnoxious for the next 6 weeks. MVP. For a team that has won 11 games, win the division, went to the playoffs, I was considering several players, but I can't help but feel like that when it comes to MVP, you must do something beyond what you normally do. If you are a 1,000-yard receiver, it's going to be kind of hard to keep giving you MVP if you always do 1,000 yards. If you're a 355-yard passer, it's kind of hard. Everyone did what we expected for them. We expected Barkley to rush for 1,000 yards. He did. We expect Devontae and AJ to get 1,000 yards. They did. We expect Jalen Hurts to throw for at least 25 touchdowns. He did. 25 and 6. He had the perfect variable. Over 25 touchdowns or more. Single-digit interception. Everything was good. He had over 3,000 yards passing. Not really the greatest, but he didn't really screw it. So, honestly, I'm giving it to the fans. Everything just screamed, we did everything right. Why did we still lose to San Fran? Why do we still feel like we were like the phonies of division winners? I'm telling you right now, Carolina looked more competent. They came with a losing record. Just saying. So honestly, which Pennsylvania team? Yeah, I think you're better than Pittsburgh, but not by much. Honestly, I probably put both of you as probably the weaker division winners going into the playoffs. But yeah, Eagles, you did everything you're supposed to do. Stats, wins, and everything. Just felt nah. So to me, the MVP goes to the fans. Because they were hoping that you guys would turn it around. They were hoping that this was just a mirage, and when you go to the playoffs, you just locked in. Especially in the San Francisco team that has Brock Purdy, which they don't know. The real threat is McCaffrey. McCaffrey. And there's no Warner or Bosa to harass you guys. So everything just felt like, so we should at least take care of the Niners at least move on to the second round, right? Right? So yeah, fans get MVP. They deserve it. Because they had hope that you guys would somehow figure it out. Because like it, all this whole thing felt very much is in your head. Grade, a C. C. Character, charisma, consistency, confidence, maybe. Consciousness. It just felt like you guys were such a good team on paper. But it's just this feeling of like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. There's just something about it that just makes me feel that he's doing good. But why does he feel empty inside? Come to the draft. A lot of your players left. Some of you try to bring back. But I feel like offensively you guys are good. I feel like Brown, if he doesn't get traded, Devontae, Barkley, Dallas, even Jalen, I feel like you guys are good solidified. I do hear talks about offensive tackles. So I would address the offensive tackle at 23. So my pick for you guys at number 23, I'll go with what's it? Where to put it? Caden Proctor, offensive tackle, Alabama. I feel like he's very athletic. Something else to look pride for too. So I will say pick him potentially if he's there at 23 because I feel like he will probably be there in the late round, first rounders. But if you want to go pass rushers, because I feel like that's what was the caliber of your identity for the past few seasons. Akeem Mesidor, edge, defensive end, Miami, pick him up. Especially if the Bucs don't pick him up, he might still be there. If you want to do a project player, so in the first round, number 23, Keldrick Falk, defensive end, Auburn. He is a lot of talent, a lot of potential. And with Philadelphia, yes, he's a first-round pick, but if he blooms very quickly, you still have that first one. He's that fifth-year option. Develop him. Don't have to rush him in. Put him in the rotation. Project player is always good for a team that's already considered a playoff-bound team. Put him in there. Let's see what happens. But, yeah, that's what I feel about for Philadelphia. And that's Philadelphia in kind of a nutshell. So we're going to conclude by talking about the New York Giants. And the Giants have a lot of question marks, but they do have a Harbaugh. And a lot of Ravens went to the Giants. The question is Jackson Dart not going to kill himself? And is Cam Scatterbo not? No, same thing. Can these two young men that were drafted that did so good the rookie seasons not kill their careers by going headfirst into danger? We'll talk about them when we talk about it next time. But until then, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic. Thank you so very much for watching.